Believe me, those that work together throughout this prohibition movement will be the ones standing at the end and will be the ones representing this industry. And that's what's most important, and that's the reason for tonight. Let me introduce the next speaker. His name is Matt Brown. Matt Brown founded Colorado Cannabis Consultants, where he has since consulted with over 100 Colorado caregiver organizations on how to understand the present laws and regulations, as well as how to prepare for their business for better regulations in the future. A big round of applause for Matt Brown.
Thank you very much for inviting me tonight. Thank you, Michael, everybody else for coming. I'd like to start, I think, by continuing the theme Rob began with. May you live in interesting times. And this is absolutely, positively the most interesting times for medical marijuana, or marijuana reform in general, that any of us have seen in our lifetimes. Right here in Colorado, we are obviously the epicenter of a lot of this growth. We were not the first state to pass patient-enabling laws or protections, but we were the first state to step up to the plate and provide statewide rules and regulations that govern what a medical marijuana business and industry should be. That was unprecedented. And this marks the beginning of the next evolution of medical marijuana policy across the country. I absolutely believe that the work that has been done here in Colorado over the last 6, 9, 12 months, and the work that was put in for years and years and over a decade before that, will lead to other state legislatures this fall and next spring turning and saying, I think we're going to look at the Colorado model, not the California model. Obviously, there's a lot of concern in this room for how exactly House Bill 1284 and Senate Bill 109 will impact your businesses, your livelihood, and your day-to-day sanity, if nothing else. I believe, in my heart, absolutely, House Bill 1284 shifts the focus from smoking pot to more advanced forms of medication, and it comes to grasp with the biggest change that Colorado's medical marijuana patient population has seen in the last year. And that is the evolution beyond simply the most sick and the most depraved individuals who simply cannot find treatment anywhere else, who take this final step to try out medical marijuana. We certainly are still taking care of wheelchair-bound patients, of people who have lost every measure of their quality of life. But over the past year, particularly, as Rob mentioned, as more and more compassionate doctors began to have an open and honest conversation with our patients, what you saw was an industry that then progressed to include more and more people like me. It has been almost 4 years since I took the step to become a Colorado medical marijuana patient, and for those of you who don't know, I have Crohn's disease. It's not something that's outwardly visible. I'm not in a wheelchair. I lead a relatively normal life with that one big asterisk. I'm not indigent. I do work, often too hard. But there are thousands upon thousands of people like me who have now joined the ranks of Colorado's medical marijuana patients. And over the last 6 months, our Colorado legislature has stepped up to the bat to try to create the starting point of a system that protects the patients that have always been on the registry in the state of Colorado, the most extreme examples, as well as any of the less extreme examples who have also chosen this particular form of health care, perhaps over others. There are 3 big changes that I see in House Bill 1284 that are incredibly exciting. First is a whole new range of incentives for you as dispensary or now medical marijuana center owners, but is still a very intimate caregiver in the lives of your patients, even though that term may be taboo now. This offers incentives for you to specialize in a particular condition, to find strains and other extracted forms of medicine that target that condition, and to provide a package of services for a particular type of patient that are unmet by others in the industry. This will allow certain dispensaries to specialize in fibromyalgia, while others may specialize in joint pain. Certain dispensaries to specialize in various topical forms of pain relief, whereas others are looking at tablets or edibles or other inhaled forms. This allows and gives you now the incentive to specialize in those patients because you will have the ability to verify who has still named you with the Department of Health as their primary caregiver or as their primary medical marijuana center. And the benefit to you as a business owner is that the smokable bud that sits on your shelf, that as we all know has to come from the 70-30 vertical integration grow, is going to be tied to those patients just like before. You will actually have the ability to tell if somebody's just signing a form at every single store in town to try to get whatever the 10% off special of the day is, versus someone who has come to you and has named you as a long-term caregiver in their life as their primary medical marijuana center. you will need to justify the number of plant counts that you have inside your facilities and your various optional premises grow sites, just as you do now. However, instead of the terms by Amendment 20, we have a whole new term under the Medical Marijuana Center, under the terms of the optional premises grow license, that gives you every incentive in the world to become a very intimate part of your patients' lives. To the other point that was mentioned, that costs are still